Nandi Mupopi Theoshiwana, anyone, Edina Liange or Patrick Sam Okuzako NBC. We are coming to you live from the capital of the Oshana region, that is Oshakati, where the governor Hofni Iipinge, who was recently appointed, is going to be giving his maiden speech here. Now, to give us an analysis this morning in preparation of this speech, I'm joined by the director of the universities of Namibia, both the Iipinge campus here in Ondangwa, in Oshakati, as well as in Ongwe Diva. That is Dr. Jacob Shihama. Thank you, doctor, for making time out this morning to join us on the analysis prior to the SORA.
Thank you very much, Patrick, and good morning to the viewers.
I think just to start off with, one of the key analysis that we want to understand from a Namibian's perspective is, why is regional councils, why is subnational governance, why is that important in the context of this nation?
Okay, thank you very much, Patrick. And I just want to say that regional council are very important structure of Namibia governance, because it brings the government to the people and it makes the people participate in the governance themselves. Yes, they directly elect their both regional council, which later culminate into regional governance, and later also culminate later to local authorities, and whereby you have to attract the people to identify their challenges and the aspirations of development and the services they want to get, and the quality of service. You bring it closer to the people through regional council. For sure, that we have to celebrate Namibia government in terms of making sure that regional councils structure is in existence. What we can ask for more is for it to be better funded, so that these resources, national resources, are accessible to the people on the ground, and they should have a say on how these resources are impacting their daily lives. Thank you very much.
Speaking about daily lives, what is daily life like for the residents of the Oshana region? What are the opportunities, what are the priorities in terms of development?
Okay, Oshana region is a very particular region. Historically, it's a center of many government services before, and after independence, it has even grown into becoming a government services region from Oshakati, Ongwe Diva, Ondangwa. In terms of daily services, you have education, you have healthcare. It's here in Oshana, you have the largest hospital, which is Oshakati Intermediate Hospital Oshakati, with a coverage area of almost 1.3 million catchment area, the population itself. And you have also many private hospitals here in Oshana region, which are of good repute. You have Ondangwa, you have Medipark, Ongwe Diva. And in terms of higher education, you have the most region with the most tertiary institution campuses. We have in Oshana alone, we have 3 University of Namibia campuses, both Iipinge, Pohamba, Jose Eduardo Santos, and Oshakati campuses. And you have other private institution campuses like IUM, and the Namibia University of Science and Technology is also having a footprint here. So in terms of the population, mostly who are here are professionals who are here to deliver and provide services on behalf of government to the population or on behalf of private sector. And you have many learners also. You can call it a learner town. You have the highest number of secondary schools and combined school here in Oshana region. In terms of higher education, you can call it a student region. Thank you very much.
And so what you're making clear is that, access is something that the residents of the region have. So even when we are able to access certain things, the impact that it has on our lives, speak to us about how would you assess the level of impact on young people's lives from all of these opportunities that you're speaking about in the region?
Yeah, what I can say here is that the impact on life is our main objective, so that all what we do in terms of development should make the lives of the people better and enjoyable and conducive for future generation. For the young people, we will say yes, we have high unemployment due to the fact that also most of the peoples are now practicing what we call rural-urban migration in search for better living and better services in this densely populated now, called the smallest region, mostly in Namibia, is also Oshana. And they are coming to Ongwediva, they are coming to Oshakati, they are coming to Ondangwa for such services. Most of them end up not having enough access, but we still need more investment in the region, which will serve as a center of building a one Namibia, one nation, because you don't want to build a university in each village or a hospital in each village, but you rather have smaller arms of government institution to each corner of the country, but you have some centralized engagement where the nation feel they come together to solve their problem or plan together.
Interesting. As in Namibia, you can see the winds of change are blowing here in the region. Our set being affected as well. Hopefully these banners will last till the end of the interview. It's a very interesting region, Doctor. 5,920 square kilometers. It's possibly the smallest region in the entire country. Population is about 250,000 roughly people. We have 11 constituencies. In that positioning, is Oshana the correct model when we're speaking about what qualifies? I mean, we know the Delimitation Commission has recently looked at the borders of the country, within it, the regions, the constituencies. A region like, for instance, Karas region or Hartap that are very big with about 8 constituencies. Should we look at adapting the Oshana model to those regions as well? Or what is your understanding in terms of how Oshana can serve as a model that we could replicate in many other parts of the country?
Yeah, thanks, Patrick, and that's a very interesting question anyhow, full of different nuances. Yes, Oshana is the smallest with 11 constituencies in comparison to other geographically, in terms of area, big regions with fewer constituencies. But to tell you one thing is that we should also look at how should we resourcefully reserve and accommodate and balance between urbanization and other land use resources in terms of farming, in terms of, like in Oshana, we have no land for farming. So gradually everybody who needed to farm mostly in Oshana have to go to the edge of the region to do that, because inside here you will not find enough space to even practice sustainable small farming. And the other region have to also enjoy their specific identity, exclusive identity, that they have a vast area, they have fewer population, and mostly maybe fewer constituencies, but that allows people to engage in better productive farming. When you are looking at our rainfall patterns, that also determines what is the livestock per square meter in a farm in Karas region or Hartap, in comparison to a farm at Grootfontein, which is also in Soendupa. This is also the same as per the people and also governance. You might have a farm in Karas region which is vast, but it have only 8 camps. But the smallest farm at Grootfontein here will have 12 camps because of its productivity in terms of how much rainfall it gets. It's the same to this region. It's a region which was populated not only people from Oshana, but since it was the first establishment of governance, state institution, many people flock to this Oshana, to Ondangwa, to Ongwediva, and to Oshakati from all over the northern regions to come and settle here. And they become, for sure, the citizens of Oshana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more complex in terms of development, and then just to look at the fact that maybe we need to make a regional leadership in charge of a smaller area or a smaller population of people. That's interesting. Just before we cross over, we saw the governor enter the hall this morning. What are your expectations of the SORA?
Yeah, you know, we have a very youthful governor, and my expectation is for him to provide the vision for the region in terms of youth employment, and mostly road network for the region and the higher institution to come more to the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As you know, we're running out of time. We're starting exactly at 10 o'clock. I think Oshana is one of the only regions that have hit it right on time. So let's cross over that. More of the post-analysis after the SORA. Join us for that. For now, it's the governor's turn.
All kinds of animal life, domestic and the wild, large and small, and it was done. So God made them all, and he was pleased with what he saw. Then God said, and now we will make human beings. They will be like us and they resemble us. They will have power over the fish, power over the birds, and all animals, domestic and wild, large and small. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. He created them male and female. And he blessed them and said, have many children, so that your descendants will live all over the earth and bring it under their control. I am putting you in charge of the fish, in charge of the birds, and all the wild animals. I have provided all kinds of grain and all kinds of fruit for you to eat. But for all the wild animals and for all the birds, I have provided grass and leafy plants for food. And it was done. God looked at everything he has made, and he was very pleased. Evening passed, and the morning came. That was the 6th day. Amen. Dear brothers and sisters, the Oshana region family, the world is created out of nothing. In Hebrew we say ex nihilo, created something out of nothing. God is the source, the giver, and the sustainer of life. He created us to be in a good relationship with him, a relationship with God, with other people, and with the creation. Human beings are to live in the world, not as owners and exploiters, but we have to live in the world as stewards and the caretakers of God's creation. We are called and sent simultaneously to be caretakers of God's world. As a region, as a family, Oshana region in particular, we have to create a conducive environment for our people. Therefore, we are gathered here responsible for the leadership of this region. We gathered here with our honorable governor and honorable councillors and all the inhabitants of this region. We have to work, or we must work hard to bring changes and the new developments to the region at large. God gave us a responsibility to contribute and continue to create new things out of something. It is only God who can create something out of nothing. But we human beings, we have to create something out of something. We have the land. We have the land. So, brothers and sisters, we must work diligently, decently, accordingly, and unhesitatingly, so that God can look to our contribution with joy and appreciation. We are here to work together as a unified family of Oshana region. We have to make sure, in the name of God, that people have food. We have to make sure that our people have food, have something to eat. We have to distribute the bread fairly and equally. We must make sure in this region that we have clean water, shelters, and our children have access to education. And we provide health facilities, vocational training, and alleviate poverty and unemployment within the region. Therefore, brothers and sisters, it's very serious. To be an office bearer, you have to take your responsibility very seriously. And we promote equality, equity, and also our people must have an access to land. Let us pray. Because with God, everything is possible. Heavenly Father, we are gathered here as your sons and daughters of this region. We ask thee to be in our midst, to bless us. Help us to march in your light. Help us, O Lord, to do our work and fulfill our responsibilities within this region. In Jesus' name we pray, and we invite thee to sit with us, to be with us, to protect us, to guide us, and help us also to love one another. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In conclusion, okuna ositumbula shoshiwambo, okukwaya pitapo malungushu, yafiapo orenyalayo. I don't know how to translate it in English, but you understand me. Kucha, we need a lasting legacy. Before you leave that office, please leave your feather there. A lasting legacy. Doesn't matter you are a governor, neither you are a councillor, you are a pastor or a mayor. Please. May God bless you all. Amen.
Special council meeting is being held today, Friday, 1st of August 2025 at 10 o'clock to consider the agenda as circulated, with the key item being the State of the Region address. It is now my singular honor to invite the Honorable Governor of Oshana Region, Honorable Hofni Iipinge, to deliver the State of the Region address. Honorable Governor, say.
Is it on? We may be seated. The chairperson of Oshana Regional Council, Honorable Andreas Utoni, all honorable regional councillors present, Commissioner Naftal Sakaria, Regional Commander of the Namibian Police in Oshana Region, Your Worship, the mayors of Oshakati, Ongwediva, and Ondangwa towns, all local authority councillors present, Oshana Regional Council, chief executive officers of all our local authority in the region, members of the management of Oshana Regional Council, veterans of the liberation struggle, traditional authority leaders, spiritual leaders in the name of Tate Nehemia. Thank you very much for the very wonderful prayer. Regional heads of organizations, ministries, and agencies in Oshana region, captains of industries, members of the media, all invited guests, fellow Namibians, good morning. It is both a profound honor and a solemn duty to deliver the Oshana State of the Region address for the 2024-2025 financial year, as mandated by Article 110A, Section 5 and 6 of the Namibian Constitution. Oshana region is one of the Namibian's 14 regions, situated in the northern part of the country, with the area size of 8,647 square kilometers and a population of 230,801 as per 2023 census report. Of that number, 35.5% are young adults. Between the age of 15 to 35, about 22.3% are between the age of 35 to 59, while about 22.1% are between 5 to 14 years of age. And finally, 7.3% representing members of our community from the age of 60 and above. In terms of traditional authority boundaries, we have part of Okwanyama Traditional Authority on the north and east, Ukwambi Traditional Authority on the southeast, and Ondonga Traditional Authority on the east-western part of the region. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Namibians, this is a moment of accountability, a reaffirmation of our shared values, and platform to chart a collective path forward. Today's address reflects on our achievements, planned activities in the region, and directly responds to the urgent needs and aspirations of our communities. I address you at a time of renewed purpose. Just over 3 months ago, our President, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, delivered her historic maiden State of the Nation address. In her powerful message, she stated, "We must now accelerate national transformation with resolute action and a collective sense of purpose. We are too few to be poor, and we can eradicate poverty." This rally call resonates deeply here in Oshana, our region shaped by the sacrifices of liberation struggle and strengthened by the unwavering dignity of its people. knows the value of perseverance from the vibrant towns of Oshakati, Ongwediva and Ondangwa to the remotest homestead in Okaku, to Vudhia. Our responsibility is clear to bring tangible and inclusive development to every corner of this region. As the President rightly reminded us, Namibians have placed their hope in us to transform our country based on the promises we made in the SWAPO Party Manifesto, which must be implemented without fail. With this political and moral mandate, the people of Oshana are not mere observers. They are active agents and co-creators of the transformation agenda. This address is not just a retrospective report. It is pledge of commitment, and it reaffirms our shared mission too, to empower our youth and women, improve public service delivery, transform informal settlements, enhance agricultural productivity, expand infrastructure development, and restore dignity and opportunity to all. Guided by the principle that every Namibian deserves the opportunity to a safe environment to call home, our developmental agenda is anchored in people-first governance. This philosophy directs our work in land reform, education, job creation, housing, health, and social welfare. We remain aligned with the national priorities of the 8th administration, grounded in the 7 priority areas and 8 economic enablers, ensuring that Oshana does not remain on the periphery of progress, but instead move boldly to the forefront of national transformation. Omake. The security situation. Very good, the commissioner is here. We are immensely grateful for the peace and stability that we have prevailed in Oshana region since Namibia's independence in 1990. This peaceful environment has provided fertile ground for democratic participation, social development, and economic growth. Oshana Regional Security Cluster, coordinated by the Namibian Police Force, has continued to maintain law and order with commendable dedication, a call upon all residents to strengthen their cooperation with NAMPOL and the Anti-Corruption Commission in our shared battle against crime, corruption, and gender-based violence. Oshana region recorded a 12% reduction in overall reported crime, with 12,484 cases reportedly for the year under review. Notably, rape and domestic violence cases have declined by 7.1%, with 39 rape cases and 130 domestic violence cases reported for the year under review. Let's give them a round of applause. I am, however, concerned about the delayed reporting of gender-based and domestic violence incidents. Too often, these cases are handled informally within families rather than through legal channels. We call upon all residents to prioritize the safety and rights of victims by reporting such cases promptly. Despite these challenges, NAMPOL and our broader security apparatus continue to lead proactive awareness campaigns and community policing initiatives. Their commitment, boosted by active community engagement ensure that peace and justice remain the cornerstones of Oshana's development. In fostering economic development, to creating a conducive environment for investment, business development, and job creation, with a wealth of untapped potential across multiple sectors. Our region remains a key player in driving inclusive and sustainable growth. During the year under review, trade exhibition events were held in the region, comprising of Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair, Ondangwa Trade and Industrial Exhibition, and Oshakati Totem Expo. This trade promotion fairs aid in connecting local businesses with national and international markets. The Development Bank of Namibia, DBN, has since inception invested 978.7 million Namibian dollars, supporting diverse sectors with transformational impact, with 170.8 million Namibian dollars into construction industry, largest investment sector, 152.6 million Namibian dollars into housing development, 116.8 million Namibian dollars in electricity infrastructure, 22.1 million Namibian dollars into health sector, 1.8 million Namibian dollars into medium and small enterprises business financing. These strategic investments reflect DBN's promise to regional development and infrastructure development, which are essential enablers for sustainable growth. The Ministry of Industrialization and Trade is committed to business growth, enterprise support, and trade facilitation in Oshana. During the year under review, the ministry has registered 396 close cooperations, marking a 30.5% increase from the previous year, issued 851 SMES certificates. Industrial upgrading and modernization program within the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade supports manufacturing enterprises to enhance production capacity and competitiveness during the year under review. Are you not happy for that? The ministry has funded 3 projects at a total cost of 550,000 Namibian dollars to support micro, small, and medium enterprises in reducing startup costs and boosting productivity. The Ministry of Industrialization and Trade funded equipment for 14 micro entities at a cost of 1.1 million Namibian dollars. I'm equally pleased to announce the full operationalization of the Business and Intellectual Property Authority, BIPA, office in Ongwediva, now offering essential services to clients across northern Namibia. The Agricultural Bank of Namibia facilitated agricultural financing to 43 communal farmers in Oshana with an investment of 8.6 million Namibian dollars, representing a 25% increase from the previous year. AgriBank prioritized agricultural implements and inputs such as livestock, poultry, fencing, tractors, and machinery. I would like to encourage the youth, thank you that we got a lot of youth here, and the women in agriculture to participate in this program. Please participate. It's your program. The Ongwediva Town Council implemented a number of economic activities aimed at improving our people's livelihood. The council capacitated and mentored 13 entrepreneurs in bookkeeping and marketing. In terms of employment creation, a total of 36 permanent jobs and 500 temporary jobs have been created. In the region during the year under review, these jobs were created by different stakeholders: Ongwediva Town Council's cleaning initiative, having the highest temporary jobs created, standing at 229. Infrastructure development is the backbone of socio-economic transformation. The government of the Republic of Namibia has invested significantly in infrastructure development in Oshana region. This progress is made across key areas of water, energy, and roads infrastructure. When it comes to water infrastructure development, water is tasked to ensure access to reliable and safe water in their region. Massive infrastructure projects have been completed, including Oshakati Purification Plant extension at 818 million Namibian dollars, construction of Ogongo Oshakati pipeline at 206 million Namibian dollars, construction of Ondangwa Omtsegonime pipeline phase 1 at 90 million Namibian dollar, refurbishment of Ogongo Shakati Canal at 30 million Namibian dollars, rehabilitation of Ogongo Shakati Canal at 72 million Namibian dollars, construction of Ondangwa Oluno Indangungu pump station at 3 million Namibian dollars. The successful execution of these projects ensured improved access and water supply capacity across urban and rural areas, and at the same time boosting economic growth in the region. Projects should be implemented without compromise in order to meet our demand for economic growth and development. In the same vein, the Oshana Regional Council, through Division of Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Coordination, has constructed 7 earth dams at Oshakati West, Okaku, Uvudia, Oshakati East, Ukwi Ushona, Ondangwa Eben, Okachali constituencies at a cost of 9.6 million Namibian dollars. Rehabilitated Kanyemba Amtenya pipeline and rehabilitation of water points number 5, 6, and 7 at a cost of 1.5 million Namibian dollars. Connected private offtake at a cost of 1 million Namibian dollars. These initiatives met our objectives to provide universal access to safe water at grassroots level. The Oshana Regional Council implemented a development budget of 2.8 million Namibian dollars during the year under review. The Council successfully constructed service infrastructure at a Heke settlement at a cost of 1.5 million Namibian dollars, and completion progressing currently at standard 70%, as well as the facilities a cost of 3.7 million Namibian dollars in all rural. The Oshana Regional Council implemented several minor capital projects across constituencies to improve electrification, access roads, water supply, and community facilities. In Ovodia, the project for electrification is completed at Okangwena at a cost of 325,000 Namibian dollars. In Ompunja, the access road rehabilitation at Oshipumbu Shomgongo is progressing at 90% with a budget of 130,000, while the construction of a community shade at Onyeka Patient Center is 90% complete, costing 80,000 Namibian dollars. In Oshakati East, electrification of Oshakati Shapinias is completed at 118,000 Namibian dollars, and the crossing point at Ohakwenyanga number 2 village is 90% complete at a cost of 229,000 Namibian dollars. In Oshakati West, the crossing point at Uthirindindi village and the community shade at Ostoa village were both completed, costing 353 Namibian dollars, 353,000 Namibian dollars, and 120,000 Namibian dollars, respectively. In Okatara, community shelters for Oshilunga Shongoshi and Ukwangula were 90% complete, with a budget of 160,000 Namibian dollars, and electrification at Haimbodi, Hamkoto Growth Center, and Epanya was also 90% complete with the same budget. In Ongwediva, electrification at Okandolopa Business Center and Ondikarela was completed at a cost of 261,000 Namibian dollars. In Okaku, the community shade at Omwanyena Center was re-elected at a cost of 80,000 Namibian dollars. The crossing point at Oshonge Center is 90% complete at 145,000 Namibian dollars, and electrification at Omakwanyama location is 60% complete with a budget of 60,000 Namibian dollars. Water pipes and fitting were supplied and delivered to various villages, and the project is marked as completed. In Ondangwa Eben, the water pipeline upgrade for Onahole and Kono and Ondangwa village was completed at 120,000 Namibian dollars. Water provision to the youth fish farm project was completed at 315,000 Namibian dollars. An upgrade of Onamambili pipeline was completed at a cost of 8,860 Namibian dollars, respectively. In Ondangwa Rural, the Omarara water pipeline connection was completed at a cost of 20,000 Namibian dollars, and electrification at Olusilu location was completed at 233,000 Namibian dollars. In Okachali, electrification of Ohati Kuka shops and Okaheke village was completed with a budget of 180,000 Namibian dollars. In Ukwi Oshana, electrification at Okapalala location was completed at a 270,000 Namibian dollars, while conversion of a community shade into a community hall is at 20% complete at a cost of 74,000 Namibian dollars. Can we give them a round of applause? Through the Ministry of Works and Transport Maintenance Division has also executed renovation and upgrading works on government buildings across the region. Key projects include renovation of the Department of Works offices in Oshakati, completed at a cost of 315,000 Namibian dollars. Renovation of the Ondangwa sub-office was completed at a cost of 541,000 Namibian dollars. New carports at the Ondangwa government garage were completed at a cost of 1.1 million Namibian dollars. In the current financial year, Oshana Regional Council plans to construct service infrastructure at the Heke Settlement Phase 3, which is planned with a budget of 1.5 Namibian dollars. Construction of service infrastructure at the Ukwangula Settlement is planned with a budget of 1 million Namibian dollars. Honorable Councillor. Provision of basic sanitation in rural area across 11 constituencies is allocated 3.2 million Namibian dollars. The Namibian police, with the support of the business community, constructed a C-class police station at Onawa location, completed at a cost of 2 million Namibian dollars as a donation by Sash Trading, Elmat River Property Development. I was there, I know it's there. The installation of CCTV surveillance systems is 80% complete, supported by MTC, NORAD, OPE, and the Town Council in Ondangwa, Ongwediva, and Oshakati. Chief Commander. Provision of control room equipped was completed at a cost of 107,000 Namibian dollars as a donation by Rani Group. Can we please give him a round of applause? The Oshana Regional Council, through the Directorate of Education, Sport, Youth, Arts, Innovation and Culture, has invested a substantive amount in education infrastructure during the year under review as follows. Construction of 6 classrooms at Ekuku Primary School is completed. Construction of 4 classrooms at Joseph Bangura Primary School is completed. Construction of 4 classrooms at Madina Wanembenge Primary School is completed. Construction of 4 classrooms at Onguta Primary School is completed. Construction of 4 classrooms at Ondiala Primary School is completed. Construction of 2 classrooms at Ondangwa Secondary School is completed. Construction of 8 classrooms at Erundu Combined School is completed. Roof ceiling at the Ondangwa Printing Building was completed at a cost of 141,000 Namibian dollars. Construction of a dry pit latrines at Kanyolo Primary School was completed at a cost of 256,000 Namibian dollars. A security fence was erected at Philippus Aupanangolo Secondary School at a cost of 935,000 Namibian dollars. The Valombola Vocational Training Center implemented the following project in the region. Bulk electrical supply for the welding, electrical and auto mechatronics workshops was completed at a cost of 2.6 million Namibian dollars. Installation of fiber cable was fully completed with a budget of 217,000 Namibian dollars. I can see there's somebody smiling there. Means that you are reflecting the, yeah. Construction of a self-catering hostel unit was completed at a cost of 1.6 million Namibian dollars. Refurbishment of the Valombola Vocational Training Center, Fence Phase 1, was completed at a cost of 334,000 Namibian dollars. Renovation of the Oshakati Guest Hotel is underway with a budget allocation of 1.4 million Namibian dollars. I don't know how many people went that side. I was there myself. I've seen. The Ondangwa Town Council implemented a capital budget of 179 million Namibian dollars during the year under review. Major project implemented includes the construction of Ondangwa Sports Stadium Phase 1, the 60 million Namibian dollar flagship project is progressing well with an amount of 16 million Namibian dollars invested during the year under review. Upgrading from gravel road to bitumen standard at Onguta at a cost of 12 million Namibian dollar is currently at 20%. The construction of a new gravel road bitumen on Nancy and on Diala Extension 26 is completed at a cost of 1.3 million Namibian dollars. The electrification of Onguta formalized area is completed at a cost of 12 million Namibian dollars. A total of 157 residential properties in Omahenene were connected for free of charge through collaboration with the Ministry of Mines and Energy and NORAD. The Ministry of Urban and Rural Development availed an amount of 15 million Namibian dollars to upgrade the aging sewer system in Ondangwa Town. Mayor and the councillors, you are here, I can see. The following projects are planned for the 2025 and 2026 financial year in Ondangwa Town. Construction of a new sewer treatment plant Phase 1 has the highest allocation at 20 million Namibian dollars. Continuation of the sports stadium project has a budget of 16 million Namibian dollars. Expansion of the Trade Fair Center is allocated 2.5 million Namibian dollars. Construction of culverts and bridges is budgeted at 2 million Namibian dollars. Roads upgrading in Namibia, Bow Extension 17 and 20 is allocated 2 million Namibian dollars. Construction of a Reisha Park has a budget of 1 million Namibian dollars. Road construction and extension Phase 1, Extension 7, Phase 1, is funded with 10 million Namibian dollars. Road construction in Onguta is also budgeted at 10 million Namibian dollars. Construction of a taxi rank at ABC Market is allocated 500,000 Namibian dollars. Land compensation, which is a problem in our towns, planning and surveying activities are funded with 4.3 million Namibian dollars. Upgrading of sandy roads and rainy water embankment in Oluno is budgeted at 4 million Namibian dollars. Sewer modernization pump upgrades is allocated 3.5 million Namibian dollars. The Ondangwa Town Council has implemented a capital budget of 53 million Namibian dollars during the year 2024-2025 financial year. Key infrastructure project, which includes the following: Water and sewer reticulation at extension 12 is 75% complete with a budget of 4.3 million Namibian dollars. Refurbishment of the water tower is at 70% progress, funded with 6.9 million Namibian dollars. Water reticulation at Omatando extension is 35% complete with a budget of 6.5 million Namibian dollars. Upgrading of Abraham Nyambali Street has started and is at 5% progress with a budget of 10 million Namibian dollars. Stormwater infrastructure at Extension 11, Phase 4, is 55% complete, costing a 2.6 million Namibian dollars. Sewer rising main upgrade at Pump Station 3 is at 5% progress with 2.6 million Namibian dollars allocated. Construction of offices Phase 1 is 5% complete with a budget of 2.1 million Namibian dollars. Upgrading of the Ongwediva open market. Where's the mayor of Ongwediva and the councillors? Ongwediva open market is 30% complete, budgeted at 3.4 million Namibian dollars. I was there. Work is in progress. I don't know where's the leadership. Procurement of water tanker truck is at 5% progress, costing 2.1 million Namibian dollars. Construction of the multi-purpose sport field Phase 4 is fully completed at a cost of 4.3 million Namibian dollars. Development of the Reisha Park at Extension 11 Phase 2 is fully completed with 2.1 million Namibian dollars spent. Ongwediva Town Planned Project for 2025-2026. I see the incoming councillor. Listen very carefully. Water reticulation at Extension 17 in Omatando at a cost of 6.9 million Namibian dollars. Water tower refurbishment at a cost of 3.4 million Namibian dollars. Electrical reticulation Extension 12 Phase 1 at a cost of 5.2 million Namibian dollars. Redesign of intersections at a cost of 2 million Namibian dollars. Abraham Nyambari Road upgrades at a cost of 10 million Namibian dollars. Stormwater channels at a cost of 2.6 million Namibian dollars. Sewer rising main upgrade at a cost of 2.6 million Namibian dollars. And multi-purpose sport field Phase 5 at a cost of 4.3 million Namibian dollars. Leisure Park Extension 11 Phase 3 at a cost of 3 million Namibian dollars. Open market expansion Phase 3 at a cost of 2.6 million Namibian dollars. The Oshakati Town Council successfully implemented the following infrastructure and development project at a capital cost of 76 million Namibian dollars. Give them a round of applause. The leadership is here, I can see them. Upgrading of Natis and Oshakati Extension 3, roads to bitumen standard Phase 1, completed at a cost of 4.5 million Namibian dollars. Construction of gravity sewer network and water reticulations infrastructure for Oshakati North Extension 12 and part of Extension 1 completed at a cost of 4.5 million Namibian dollars. Provision of temporary employment for 112 workers completed at a cost of 4.4 million Namibian dollars. Construction of sewer and water infrastructure at Iipinge Extension 12 and part of Extension 11, ongoing with a budget of 4.5 million Namibian dollars. Upgrading of the Kuku Irrigation Park, currently in progress, with a budget of 1.5 million Namibian dollars. Construction of Castle Flats, Phase 2, currently in progress, with a budget of 4.8 million Namibian dollars. Oshakati Town Council planned project for 2025-2026 financial year. Construction of bulk services at Ompumbu with a budget allocation of 7.1 million. Installation of water, sewer, and electricity service in Ukwangula allocated 4 million Namibian dollars. New road construction to improve access to Elven in Oshakati North, Extension 12, Iipinge, budgeted at 7.5 million Namibian dollars. Rehabilitation of key industrial roads, Distill, Builded, Africa Meat to bitumen standard, allocated 8 million Namibian dollars. Road and stormwater upgrades across the town with a budget of 7 million Namibian dollars. Upgrading of Oshakati West roads near the PEP or Katana area, allocated 2.5 million Namibian dollars. Phase 2 procurement and installation of prepaid water meters, budgeted at 1.3 million. Provision of free electrical connections for relocated Onawa residents with 2.7 million allocated. Informal settlement, alignment projects funded with 4.5 million Namibian dollars. Urban planning of Onawa Extension 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, budgeted at 2.2 million Namibian dollars. Surveying of Onawa Extensions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, with a budget of 3.7 million Namibian dollars. Construction of stormwater channels around the town, allocated 1.7 million Namibian dollars. Can we give him a round of applause? The government, through the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, availed a budget of 103 million Namibian dollars for the formalization and upgrading of informal settlement in Oshakati town. Some of the projects to be implemented include relocation of informal settlers or Shopara, budget 3 million Namibian dollars. Surveying of Onawa Extensions 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, budgets $3.7 million. Nored Electricity Pty Limited has, during the year under review, implemented capital infrastructure project which comprises of fencing of mini substations and larger substations at a cost of 100,000 Namibian dollars. Installation of network protection recrosser at a cost of 315,000 Namibian dollars. NORAD planned project 2025-2026. Where is NORAD? I will represent it. Thank you, thank you. Ring feed infrastructure, Oluno prison, budgeted at 2.5 million Namibian dollars. Retrofit of 10 relays, 5 at Omatando intake, budgeted at 800,000 Namibian dollars. Fencing of mini substations and substations, budgeted at 125,000 Namibian dollars. The Ministry of Mines and Energy funded an electrification project in Oshana region. Key projects include the construction of high mast lighting at Ondangwa and Ongwediva at a cost of 1.7 million Namibian dollars. In addition, KFW is a Germany company. KFW availed funds for the electrification of reception areas in Ondangwa at a cost of 4.3 million Namibian dollars. I see the leadership is here and they are agreeing. In terms of telecommunication infrastructure, Telecom Namibia has upgrades network towards to improve digital connectivity at Ondangwa Eben, Ongwediva, and Oshakati East constituencies. Telecom invested 35 million Namibian dollars in the project. Human capital development is central to Namibia's journey to prosperity. The government continues to invest in education, health, and skill training to build a capable and empowered workforce. In support of this goal, the Oshana region hosts a number of tertiary institutions which offer diverse programs in management, education, nursing, and engineering. As of the end of the 2024-2025 financial year, Oshana region has produced a total of 3,328 graduates from various higher learning and vocational institutions in the region. Let's give them a round of applause. Our development stakeholders contributed to the development of human capital in the region by offering students scholarships, bursaries, and internships as follows. Anybody from Social Security? Social Security offered scholarship to 50 students in vocational and technical courses at the tune of 5 million Namibian dollars. Let's give them a round of applause. Rani Trading, in collaboration with the Office of the Governor, offered the registration fees to 19 students at the tune of 100,000 Namibian dollars. Tulipohamba, in collaboration with the Office of the Governor, offered 2 years courses in health and training to 10 students at the tune of 742,000 Namibian dollars. NORAD offered bursary to 2 students in electrical engineering to the tune of 101,000 Namibian dollars. Omake? NORAD also offered 6-month student internship to 18 students at the tune of 183,000 Namibian dollars. Omake? These initiatives are critical in addressing youth unemployment and ensuring that skills development aligns with market needs. The Namibian government remains committed to people-centered development, focusing on improving quality of life for all. Over the past year, efforts have intensified through targeted programs in health, education, housing, and social protection, especially for vulnerable communities. The Office of the Prime Minister, as part of the government drought relief programs, has supported 18,784 food insecure households in the region with food on a monthly basis during the year under review. This support was essential to ensure food security and improve the coping capacity of drought-affected rural and peri-urban households. The Oshana Regional Council also procured food and supported drought-affected households in the region at a cost of 992,000 Namibian dollars. Oh, besides the drought-affected households, the government also provides food support to marginalized communities on a monthly basis in the region. A total of 554 households of the marginalized community receive this support from the Ministry of Gender. The Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism allocated 3 elephants to support the drought relief program in Oshana region through the provision of elephant meat. All 3 elephants were culled in Iipinge Chilongo Conservancy and distributed to the drought relief program beneficiaries. The Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism facilitated trophy hunting in Iipinge Chilongo Conservancy, generating the Conservancy a total of 408,000 Namibian dollars for its members' beneficiation. The Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism prioritized the management of forests through the clearing of cutline to prevent field fires and produce seedlings. The ministry produced 4,995 and spent an amount of 353,000 Namibian dollars in clearing cutline. Omak. I have equally noted the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism's commitment in its endeavor to minimize human-wildlife conflict, combating illegal poaching, and protecting endangered species in the region. The Division of Gender Equality and Social Welfare supported 33,026 children with social grants valued at a cost of 12 million Namibian dollars. In addition, support was provided to early child development centers in the form of subsidy valued at 3.7 million Namibian dollars. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, through the dry land crop production program, subsidized 13,798 farmers in terms of plowing services, seeds, and fertilizers to enhance agricultural production at a cost of 4 million Namibian dollars. Let's give them a round of applause. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, through the Poultry Value Chain Development Scheme, supported 81 poultry producers at a cost of 516,000 Namibian dollars. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, through the National Horticulture Support Programs and Value Chain Development Support, supported 115 beneficiaries at a combined cost of 930,000 Namibian dollars. A total of 877 plots have been allocated at the 3 local authorities of Ondangwa, Ongwediva, and Oshakati. The region has continued to maximize efforts in ensuring the benefits it derives from its international cooperation and trade foster sustainable socio-economic development. Oshana region currently has an active Memorandum of Understandings with the Limpopo province of South Africa, Jiangxi province in the People's Republic of China, and looking forward to signing memorandum of understanding with Kilimanjaro region of the United Republic of Tanzania and Kunene province in the Republic of Angola. Despite notable progress, the Oshana region continued to face a number of pressing challenges, including but not limited to inadequate water infrastructure for agricultural purposes, coupled with aging pipelines, a persistently higher rates of unemployment, particularly among the youth, adverse climatic conditions that threaten food security for both our people and livestock, limited provision of affordable housing, a challenge that occurs across the nation, restricted access to financing for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, which are the backbone of our local economy. The increasing prevalence of illegal land occupation and unauthorized fencing. While these challenges are formidable, they are not impossible. With unity of purpose and strategic collaboration, we can transform them into opportunities. Therefore, I wish to recommend the following interventions for the consideration of government and all development stakeholders. Strengthen engagements with financial institutions to recognize and support alternatives building technologies, thus enabling the construction of low-cost housing for low-income households. Invest in the construction of boarding schools in rural areas, providing conducive teaching and learning environment and sufficient accommodation for our learners. Expedite the extension of the Etaka Canal to reach Lake Oponona, thereby boosting irrigation and livestock farming in the southern part of the region. Operationalize local abattoirs and support farmers to enhance agricultural productivity and promote value addition to our regional produce. Accelerate the implementation of capital projects and development programs to stimulate economic growth and job creation. Prioritize the implementation of the revised compensation policy, enabling improved land delivery through adequate funding for compensation and land servicing at local authority level. Encourage local authority to establish youth recreation parks and sport facilities, fostering youth development and positioning our region as a hub for sport excellence. Continuing supporting and upgrading vocational training institutions such as CAEC, COSDEC, and VTCC to equip our youth with the technical skills demanded by the labor market. Undertake a holistic review of our primary, secondary, and tertiary education curricula, aligning them with Namibia's natural resources sector to expand employment opportunities. Strengthen civic education, initiatives to promote informed and active citizenship across all communities. Fellow Namibians, as the former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan once said, knowledge is power, information is liberating. In every society, in every family, Let us build an inclusive, prosperous, and resilient Oshana region together. May God bless Oshana region. Long live the Republic of Namibia, and I thank you.
Well, maybe there you've heard the State of the Region address coming to you live from the regional capital of the Oshana region, that is Oshakati. The maiden speech by the governor, Hofni Iipinge, talking to us about a myriad of issues that affect the status of development in the region. Now, Doctor joined me earlier in the pre-analysis. Doctor, welcome back to the post-analysis here. Tell us, what are your initial impressions and feeling from the State of the Region address this morning?
My impression is very good, as the governor was really talking to the real issues with facts and numbers on what is happening on the ground, mostly covering all the constituencies and the township and even villages. Yeah.
And in terms of, you know, some of the key issues that came across from his speech, he spoke about it is a pledge of commitment and it reaffirms our shared mission. And he spoke about, one, to empower our youth and women. Again, I think the Namibian public is becoming, you know, aware that a lot of the promises are made. Is it again a situation where we might be over-promising and under-delivering? What is the status of particularly empowering youth and women, given what you spoke about earlier, unemployment? How do we make sense of this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I know it has been expressed that it's empowering youth and women. But this have to happen alongside developmental activities and service delivery. As you have heard about different towns and Oshakati, Ondangwa, Ongwediva have provided temporary employment, exercise which is formal employment for a short term, but it's very good in terms of upgrading and giving opportunity to the unemployed youth. That is one. If you have heard there was upgrading of the roads in different parts of the region and the constituency and township that provide both temporary and permanent employment. If you have looked up to there, you have heard about electricity and electrification in different parts of the region and towns around Ongwendiva, Oshakati and Ondangwa. And that is also good opportunity for different type of youth to practice different type of occupations they have been trained in. And gradually you could see that that attracts more enterprises and more businesses. As you have heard about them already participating in sponsoring youth in terms of different private organizations and state ones.
In all of those development issues, we spoke a lot in his closing part about restoring the dignity and opportunities for all. And I think my question earlier on was in light with, you know, the relationship between even employment, for instance. We know people get employed, but the question is, are they able to foster a decent livelihood? All right. Do we always use the lowest common denominator when we're speaking about mobility, when we're speaking about opportunities? Should we have a higher benchmark? To say, you know, it's beyond employment. Yes, we want to employ you to start off, but we also want to ensure that you have a decent livelihood, that employment might not become a debt trap. If we're recently looking at just the number of Namibians that are indebted, and you can only go into debt when you have employment, right, in essence. So how do we ensure that employment itself doesn't become the outcome, that it's merely a journey to something that he spoke about in the last part, restoring dignity and opportunities for all, which dignity in itself is a higher benchmark. It's got to do with your lives in terms of your rights, but also your livelihood. So how do we bridge that gap?
Yeah, you are very right, Patrick, and I trust that as you have heard what were the challenges and recommendations from the governor, State of the Region address. The first recommendation, number one there, if we have listened very well, is that he have asked the government officers and the state agencies to engage financial sector. That is for both locally and internationally, to bring in more investment to assure that the development and the employment that is accorded to the youth can allow them to live a decent life. And also gradually to organize a system around the society that allow and empower the youth to make sure that they take ownership of what they are gaining and put it to useful use for their decent living and dignity, and not just a little that will not allow them to live a decent life, but rather to even destroy themselves further.
So you're saying that yes, employment is a good place when you are disenfranchised, when you might, be in a state of survival, but when you're not in those states, how do we promote the issues of ownership? Particularly when it comes to, the resources of this country, whether it is the means of production, land, labor, capital, enterprise, technology. How do young people position themselves strategically to own a larger part of that value chain?
How do we promote ownership by our own youth? Promotion of ownership by our youth is what mostly we are advocating for, especially the University of Namibia used to have what is called a small business center, which have culminated into a Masters of Development program, Master of Development Studies program, to advance and capacitate them to make sure that they lead in developing the country and their society in the profession they practice. But this center have trained the youth to empower them professionally and institutionally to make sure that when they venture into these baby step businesses, they are able to grow them into bigger business as a team and not just as an individual enterprise, so that gradually there is a true co-ownership, that a business does not end with one, but rather should be a life for many other people who are involved in it, and they should cherish it.
So you spoke about the role of the university in incubating and in creating an enabling environment for the pathway onto ownership. Just generally, what should be the role of institutions like yours when it comes to skills development, when it comes to capacitating institutions like SMEs, other startups? Are sometimes academic institutions like yours distanced or far too distant from what's actually happening in the reality of lives? How do we bring the stakeholders together and ensure that even academic institutions like yours improves decision making, for instance?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a correct question and timely. And I want to say, like our own institution, which is the University of Namibia and others here, they have a forum of higher education institution here in Oshana, which is hosted at the governor's office, whereby it brings together all the high institutions in one room, mostly to strategize and plan how they can provide harmonized and easy accessible higher education services, research and development. How do we do that? We mostly also have what we call formal training programs and short courses and community engagement, whereby we look at what are the challenges of the community and the needs of the community. Let me tell you, one of it is to expand our employment of opportunity for our youth, not only locally here in Oshana region, but beyond. And not only beyond Oshana region, but beyond Namibia. And where we are offering, let me say, a Portuguese language course for professionals who can trade as teachers, nurses, and doctors, so that they can occupy a very open niche in the Angolan market. We are also gradually bringing on the language of Mandarin, which is a Chinese language, at Iipinge Pahamba campus, for example, to make sure that our youth, they are going to take opportunity to visit other countries and mostly connect with industry there, so that those industry, they can bring them here and take ownership of those industry and activities.
Those are great opportunities, Dr. Sharma. What I struggle with is how those efforts are not put also at learning each other's local languages. You know, during the SORAs, I've made a terrible attempt at trying to at least introduce the local language of the region that I'm in. Why are such efforts not made to learn? I mean, I'm a Kweka Kobap speaking person. Why, even at a school level or a university level, is there no incentive to turn Namibia truly into a diverse country, to say, you and I can now cooperate and go work with the Chinese, because we also have, I speak your language and mine. Why do we always look outside rather than also just looking inside?
This one you really had hit us hard, but correctly. That question, we are not going to leave it unattended. It's a must that within our high institution curriculum and even basic education, we just should start learning our local languages, not as home languages, but as second local language. Second local language that is not spoken in your area or in your home, so that we can gradually connect different Namibians of a different culture and origin, and transforming a nation into a really one nation, which is called Namibia, other than Namibia, but I also belong to what. You are really talking what we are trying to make sure that we transform our curriculum, so that if I train now a nurse here in Oshakati, that nurse can be able to work in Utusap, he or she can be able to work in Zambezi, in Barela Island, and the Kunene. And we are gradually making those approaches, but we need this type of challenges like you have put it to us now. Another challenge that I'm going to put to you is the approach of development. Obviously, you being an academic, there's various schools of thought that dictate the principles of development. Is our development state, obviously we're in a development state, we're a developing state, is it too focused on top-down approaches? Should we, for instance, looking at the roles of development committees that were spoken earlier on by the development planner, why is it that Namibians as citizens are not volunteering, are not willing to engage in these development committees? We are actually a multi-sectoral platform. So do we put resources there? We know the governor's offices with this current 8th administration are going to get resources, are going to get finance to conduct their own activities that they must report back on as well. But let's talk about this democratic deficit that exists in our country in terms of how we approach development. Is it too top-bottom approached, or do we need more interventions that look at bottom-top approaches as well? The principles, the schools of thought when it comes to development. Thank you very much. This is really what we need type of questions. And you are very right. So far, we have been using a top approach type of government development. But we should rather take the resources to the people, so that we can have a bottom-top type of development.
How do we take them when the people are not participating?
We have to make sure that we resource what we call regional or constituency developmental budgets, so that gradually people have access to resources, and when they have access to resources and are accountable for those resources, they take ownership and responsibility to perform at a certain expectation as set by national standard. But if you do not give them the resources, they will be waiting and expecting you to do things. Gradually, you are not empowering to think, you are rather empowering to expect and wait and ask. Rather than, you should empower them to do and present solutions and not only challenges. That is why we are very happy to hear about the budget and some of the small step movement. If they can be at the faster pace, I know the nation will appreciate, and it will be a true, not business as usual.
Well, so I think that's a very important point in terms of just the direction that we should be moving in, and what the approach should be. So would you say then the introduction of the constituency development funds could be a key change maker? Because now there will be resourced at a constituency level for people to participate, and to also maybe what we're talking about, own the development process and not outsource it just to government.
Yes, it will be a change maker. It will be a big change maker, because now constituency councillors, they will be able to initiate projects with their members of the constituency, and those are the citizens of the constituency, and they will be very proud to be participating and dedicating. Some of it is employment, but at the same time, it's not just as an employment, but it's a dedication to bring development to your constituency. Therefore, with those regional resources, which can become enough in the future, I know we are moving in the correct direction, and we should just do so and deviate from the previously historically embedded in us that development is only brought to us but cannot come from us. Yeah.
That took me a second to think about. What stood out for you today in the governor's speech?
What stood out for me from the governor's speech is really the amount of investment that local authorities are making to ensure that electricity is taken to the people. Despite the little budget they have and the little resources that is accorded, but I still think that there is still more room to be done as by state-owned enterprises and businesses. So that we have a lot of businesses in Oshana, but a few were mentioned as they have truly contributed to the construction of strategic infrastructure. And this strategic infrastructure are to support movement, and that's our road. Strategic infrastructure is water, and that is now to support both suburban and urban agriculture. And if you have heard very well, that's one of the biggest challenges, that yes, we have access to water, but that is not, there is no water security assured. That one I can tell you, because what we have access to is purified water. It's like going in the shop, because NamWater is now our shop for water. And if NamWater close the tap, or Kalweke Canal close the tap, we will not have water in the whole Oshana region. Therefore, we need a bulk raw water catchment facility here in Oshana. And that will be a game changer, because that raw water will be used for purification and also for agriculture. And that infrastructure is still not existing in the region. Without water, you can talk about development, but you cannot assure that you can sustain the presence of investors here and the industrialization.
And that's interesting, because that should be a challenge that should be addressed, like you're saying, by private sector as well, because it'll directly impact their businesses. I mean, who can run a business without water?
Yes.
So in conclusion, we have a challenge in Namibia where we've seen last year 91% people registered for elections, about an 80% turnout for national elections, but not the same level of commitment to regional council and local authority elections. Why and how do we address this challenge, Professor?
Why? It has to come with the responsibility and financing of regional council. You know, budget is not with regional council. Budget is with central government. They decide where the money goes. But the moment you allocate the budget to the constituencies and to the region with correct monitoring systems and anti-corruption mechanism in place, you will see that people will understand that local authority leadership mean a lot to me, because they are the one who have the resources I have access to. Now, the long arm of resources is still centralized. Therefore, that is also telling the people that, yes, it's leadership, it's cosmetic leadership.
So it seems almost like symbolic posturing,
yes,
at a regional level,
yes,
of subnational governance.
Yes.
Okay, so how do we address that?
Which is not the truth of the story, but it's just due to the maturity and the structures of our systems, which we should keep now improving now. And what have happened before was just a step of growth. And I trust that with this new development of constituency budget and regional budgets, we are getting into real business of a nation.
Okay. So what should Namibians take away as a message from you, as somebody who's aware of how, as a state at a regional level, we should develop? What's the significance for that?
The significance for this is to make sure that the citizens of the region should always come out, constructively present the challenges and their visions of their constituencies, so that they are accounted for in terms of finding solution by the regional government and the national government. Okay. At the same time, they should preserve and protect the development that was brought to them, so that it's not vandalized. But we should rather increase it, but not to reconstruct it again. that will be a wastage, because the future generation, we should create more opportunity and more conducive environment, and not for them to repeat what we have gone through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Shyama. That is Dr. Shyama coming to us live from Oshana, where the SORA has just ended. The governor that was recently appointed, Hofni Iipinge, has delivered his developmental status of the region. The lessons that we've learned from the Oshana region are that we need to participate in the development process, and that goes beyond just participating in elections. We need to get involved, and if we live in a village development committee, if you live in a settlement development committee, if you live in a constituency or in a region, constituency development committees. But development committees are a way for citizens, civil society to participate in ensuring that we are actively involved and impacting the lives and livelihoods of this nation. We're coming to you live again on Monday morning, and this time it's from the Ohangwena region. For myself, Patrick Sam, and the entire team, thank you, Namibia, for listening to us. It's a goodbye.